Welcome to Peppershock Media's Marketing Expedition podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in marketing and advertising. Now here's your host, Ray Allen.
Hello. This is Ray Allen, President and CEO of Peppershock Media. I'm also the marketing boss babe on Instagram and Facebook and other social spaces out there. Today, we're going to talk about what a marketing needs assessment is and why you should have one if you are a C-level position person, or you own a company, or you're a founder, you're an entrepreneur, you're a solopreneur, you're a womanpreneur, all of the different fun little names that we're coming up with these days. Or maybe you're a vice president of marketing and you are looking for someone to conduct a marketing needs assessment. And really, sometimes it's nice to go outside of your own space and your own team and call in another third-party, unbiased team to help prepare what your needs really, truly are. And so in a previous podcast, I talked about a marketing audit and just auditing what is going on in your space. And then the next step really is the complete marketing needs assessment. And to build upon the audit, what the assessment really does is it dives deeper into identifying with your target audience and making sure that we're hitting the mark and identifying what we want to stop, start, keep, and why, and prioritizing those things. And we also end up with a marketing strategy and a plan and an implementation plan at the end of it, along with a budget and a timeline and the resources that you'll need. And ideally, it's going to be within the budget of what you set and what the parameters are going to be within that. And sometimes clients will come to us with, I have really no idea how much to spend, or they come to us with, this is how much I need to spend, or I can spend. And so with those parameters in mind, we go through the marketing needs assessment and identify ways that we can build your brand and, of course, your bottom line. Even nonprofits need to build their bottom line, reinvest and get, more services out there to the nonprofit world that they serve. So when I talk about building your brand and your bottom line, it really does include a lot of different types of entities. So I know that I have a lot of nonprofits follow what I have to say too, but thinking in the terms of, maybe you're not there out to make, top line revenue, but maybe you're out there to build brand awareness and, gain more donors and, build more awareness about your cause or what it is that you're serving. So when I talk about building your brand and your bottom line, that's what I truly mean. And doing a marketing needs assessment, if you're a for-profit, or you're a Fortune none, maybe you're a Fortune 100 company, a marketing needs assessment is certainly something that all entities that, want to continue to build their brand and bottom line would need to do. So the marketing needs assessment is really a comprehensive process that we go through. So we help facilitate this creative process with the agency that you're hiring and in your team as well. And we go through and we can do a number of different things. And obviously, the cost can vary based on what we get to do. But if in a perfect world, we could do all of the things that we'd want to do in a marketing needs assessment, we would include all things such as being able to interview your customer base, as well as your vendors and your employees, because we want to talk about culture and branding together. And, if your internal culture and your internal branding is good, then, it will also portray outward. So we always say, happy employees means happy customers, means, a better brand and a better bottom line. So we look at many different things about your brand, and we really dig deep and understand what it is that you represent in the marketplace. We look at your competition, what they're doing and how they might be doing things better than you, or vice versa. We look at what you're doing well and wanting, to celebrate those successes. And this isn't all about just pointing out all and poking and prodding to all the things that you're not doing well, right? We want to celebrate the things that are doing well because we want to do more of those things. And that might be, one of the number one recommendations is that we tell you to keep doing what you're doing in certain capacities because it's going well. But I always say too, just because you've been doing something one way for a long time doesn't always mean it's the right way. There might be some other things that you could do to incorporate it to make it even better. So anyway, we look at those, and we look at not only the competition, but we also look at your space. Maybe there's additional areas that you could cover and do more of. One of our customers that we did a marketing needs assessment with, we actually uncovered an entirely new, different product line that their customers were wanting and desiring, and they didn't know it. They didn't realize that their customers wanted this particular piece of equipment served to them. They're a durable medical equipment rental place and space. And so what they do is they rent out different types of piece of equipment. Well, they really, really wanted, their customers really, really wanted this particular piece of equipment. And so by us doing this marketing needs assessment, we actually uncovered a whole new revenue stream for them because of this. And so I love to help tell that story. And I've also had other customers that we've worked with actually create an entirely new segment of business to help support their main business as a result of the marketing needs assessment. So there's really been some great things that have come from us performing this work. It's kind of an outside look and utilizing our 15 years of experience, and it's like looking in and kind of seeing what's going on and maybe making some recommendations and, thinking through that. We look at a SWOT analysis. So the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of your company. Maybe there's some threats that you're not aware of, especially after we go through and do surveys and interviews with your customers and your vendors and your partners and people who, know anything about your company, right? We uncover some things that you may not have otherwise known. And that's happened too. We've uncovered some, personnel issues that people were not aware of. And, we were able to help them address that so that we could continue to build their culture internally and help them resolve some of those issues that they were facing that they didn't even know about. So some of those things come out of being able to do the surveys and, listening to what the results are, as well as doing some focus groups. We've done a number of different focus groups, facilitate them. And, there's some qualitative and quantitative data that come as a result of that. And listening to what the messaging of how the people in the focus groups are acting and reacting, it's just really a great way to understand what your target audience wants and needs and what they uncover about your brand. And so listening to them and then being able to analyze all of the data that we receive and then providing that to you in a summarized, an analysis of what it is that we've uncovered and what our key findings are, and what are some, common themes that continue to come up with the different focus groups and surveys and just different audiences that we're talking to about your brand. So going through that process really can be enlightening. It can be, you can come up with a whole new form of revenue because of it. You can address some issues because of what we uncover. If you, tend to maybe not necessarily know what other people think. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes people too don't want to tell you what they really are thinking just because they don't want to, hurt feelings or step on your toes or anything. So this truly is a nice way to have a third party, have an unbiased opinion to come in and really find out what it is that they're, what are their true feelings? What do they really think? And, good, bad, or indifferent, right? And thinking about what those threats are, how you can turn some of those threats into opportunities too. Sometimes there's things that we uncover that you weren't thinking of. And so now then how do we, take those problems and turn them into, I always try to say, we don't have problems, we have opportunities, right? Sometimes even on social media, we've uncovered some, maybe some derogatory comments or, bad reviews that we've been able to resurface and actually turn some of that around to make it better. We've turned, where they've had loyal repeat customers that then, had one bad experience and then they blasted them on social media and they never paid attention to it, that they were actually being blasted on social media. And so when we did the audit on their social media, we uncovered some of these things and they were able to address it. And then now they've, gained back their loyal repeat customers in some cases. But to let it go unaddressed is definitely something that we try to avoid from happening. And so looking at those things when we're kind of doing a deep deep dive and dig into your brand and see what's going on and what the experiences are. Those are some fun little things that we can help turn those threats back into opportunities and strengths in a way, and helping with the verbiage and the terminology that you would want to use if somebody is saying something negative about you. What can you do about it, and what should you do about it, and what maybe not to do. So those are some ways that we can help in that regard as well. And looking at your strengths, it's always nice to see what you're really strong at so you can do more of what you're strong at, but then identifying what those weaknesses are so that you can work on those, and we can use those as goals, and some strategies that we can put in place to help build those weaknesses and turn them into strengths, right? Especially if it's something that you can do and have direct impact on. We know that sometimes there's weaknesses that happen because of, uncontrollable circumstances, right? But we definitely want to focus on the ones that we can change, and do something about. So looking at your SWOT analysis is something else we do in the marketing needs assessment. Really identifying with your target audience. In the audit, we perform an empathy map, and we talk about what your target audience, and there might be actually more, a primary target, a secondary target, a tertiary target. I mean, you may have multiple different targets. And so when we look at your primary target, the one that's the most ideal customer that could ever walk through your doors or click on your website or, give you money, or if you're a donor or whatever the case might be, those are the people that we profile and make personas out of, and really do a deep understanding of them. So that way the messaging and how we're reaching them and everything that we put in place in the strategy and our goals and our objectives is actually coming back to our target audience. We name this person, depending on what the name is. We've used Pat before because it's not gender specific maybe, or maybe we do, maybe we are targeting a female, or we're targeting a male, or we want to target a millennial or a boomer, or whatever the case might be. We want to understand, because there's different profiles within each of those generations too. By the way, we want to make sure that we're not generalizing too much, but we're getting to the right person in the right place at the right time. Now we know that the recommended times that we have to be able to, infiltrate their train of thought in a day, or not even just a day, but we have to get to somebody 11 to 13 times before they even acknowledge or recognize that they've even heard or seen our brand. So 11 to 13 times before they'll even acknowledge us. So it's getting harder and harder because there's more different, many different things that are coming at people, and our consumers are smart. They can go online and they can research and they can buy what they want. But, top of mind awareness is what we are always wanting to discover and be a part of in your situation so that we can help, build your brand. So looking at your target audience, what it is that they do, how they do it. Are they golfers? Are they swimmers? Are they, what kind of things interest them? Where can we put our message in front of them, and how do we get to them? What kind of things do they belong to? Are they affluent? Do they belong to a private club? Do they, just many different things that we can think about and consider when we do an empathy map with your target audience. And then surveying the customers that you currently have, and identifying with the ones that were an ideal prospect to begin with, and now they're wonderful clients of yours. Profiling the best clients that you have, and using them as examples for the new ones that you want to attract and retain can also be a great source of information. And we can do that through the interviews and surveys and focus groups through a part of the marketing needs assessment. So looking at your target audience, capturing wonderful quotes from them about things that they like, dislike, don't like, whatever the case might be, so that we can learn from that and do our findings and discovery of information from them. And looking at the different target audiences as well, and how many audiences you want to attract, because if you do too many, then it's just going to be pretty diluted, right? If all of your efforts are trying to go to many different targets, then you might not hit your target. You might miss. And I always equate it to, if you're trying to spread your message too thin, it's kind of like if you had a cap full of bleach and you took that cap full of bleach and you poured it into a dog bowl, a dog dish. It might be highly effective in cleaning that dog dish, much more so than if you take that same cap full of bleach and put it into a swimming pool, right? It's going to be completely diluted, and it's not going to be very effective whatsoever because it's got so much dilution and so many, so much water to cover. It's not going to be effective at all. And that cap full of bleach is just going to be so spread thin that you're not going to do any good. But having it concentrated in that dog dish, same thing, same idea. If you can concentrate on who your target audience is, and not dilute your message so thin that it's just not going to be effective. So the idea is to have a concentrated target audience that you can really focus on and get those 11 to 13 messages in front of somehow, So thinking about how that's going to happen and who you're going to go through doing it, what channels you're going to take, who are your key influencers, a number of things that we look at when we do the marketing needs assessment, and identifying what your objectives really are. Who is it that you're after and why, and how are you going to get them, to come through your door or click through your site to buy? How are you going to convert? How are you going to get them to donate money to you if you're a nonprofit? How are you going to make that effective? And what tactics are you going to take? Because now you've identified with your target audience, is this audience that you want? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Snapchat? Are they on, Instagram? What is their, preferred method, and how do you get to them? How do you reach them? And, LinkedIn is another tool too. I mean, there's so many different ways to get to people. Email and, are you sponsoring an event that they're a part of? Or, are you putting the right people at the right place at the right time? Are you sitting at their table? Are you, getting in front of them in some way or another? And how are you doing it? So those are some things when we go through the goals and objectives of what it is that we want to accomplish. And this also sets the stage for being able to understand, customer acquisition costs and lifetime value of your customer. It also sets the stage for being able to know how effective your tactics truly are. Is your strategy working? Is it not? Is there some things that we need to tweak, and why? What do we have to do? Are we going down a path that's going to get us there, or do we need to pivot a little bit or a lot to get there? Are we hitting some detours? Are we going to get to the final destination one way or another? And what is that way? And how are we going to get there? And if we hit a road bump, what are we going to do about it? So thinking through the strategy and the plan and how you're going to get to your final destination of success, right? So looking at many different things that we can track and what those goals are, what are our metrics, how can we track them? And we're actually, Peppershock is now investing in a complete marketing automation system. So we'll have some dashboards that we can actually track conversions and many, many different things through, website traffic, email, social media, tracking everything in all of our things that we're doing for our clients and being able to produce, an ROI on those different efforts to see how things are actually turning out. And you've probably all heard of the different, there's Infusionsoft, HubSpot, Marketo, SharpSpring. There's many, many different kinds. And so now we're going to implement the actual automation. We've toiled with it over the years with different clients who've had different things, and, Zoho and, I can't even think of all of the ones that are out there now. But now we're actually subscribing to our own to then be able to offer to our clients as well. So we're getting really good about this inbound marketing automation process to make including in everything else that we're already doing. So anyway, the strategy and tactics that we come up with through, public relations, through your videos, through everything that you're doing, and just being able to do website management and all of the coordination, and just thinking through all of the needs that you potentially have in trying to market your business or your nonprofit, sponsorships and speaking engagements, LinkedIn profiles, a lot of different things that are going on that you can do. So thinking through all of that and how, each of those tactics that you're going to take, how are you going to, make sure that you're tracking it and making sure that what you're doing is actually working. And, some of the things that you may not even be doing that you should be. So identifying what you want to stop, start, and keep, and then looking at your, your collateral and your branding and your messaging. Is it clear? Is it working? Is it resonating with your audience? Thinking through all of those different things and the strategies that you're you're going to take to make sure that they're highly effective. That's really what the marketing needs assessment does, and the magic of what you get as a result of understanding, okay, here's the strategy, here's the plan, here's the budget, here's the timeline, here's the resources that you need, here's going to be who's going to do what and how it's going to get accomplished and when it's going to get accomplished, and who's going to be responsible for accomplishing each of these things and that are out there that need to get done, so that you're not so overwhelmed and don't feel like you got to take it all on your own. We can actually help you with the implementation process, as well as when we come up with the marketing needs assessment, and then the implementation process too. There's lots of things that we can help you with, and we go and understand the strengths of your team and the strengths of our team and how we make it the strengths of our collective team. If you don't have video producers on staff, that's how you could utilize us to help you and augment what you're doing. If you have, a graphic designer that's going on vacation, we can help support you in the design area, or you need some content written, or you need blog posts done, or, designs created, or illustrations made, presentations, pitch decks. I mean, there's just so many things that we can address and fulfill and make sure that's a part of your needs, if it is truly, in fact, a need that you do need. I mean, you might be doing things that you may not need too. So, with the stop, start, keep, the things that we're going to stop doing, that's what you need to look at as well. And we help with that. And we help prioritize things as well, in order of preference and priority and kind of the need versus want. All of those things are things that we take a look at, and then associate costs with them too, so that at least you have an idea of what the costs might be for all of these different tactics that you want to implement over a period of time. So anyway, just a number of those things that we incorporate into the marketing needs assessment. We also look at your competitive analysis. We look at your website and do an audit of your website. We look at your social media space, give you some tips and ideas of things that we could do to help improve your space if you need it. And we also want to look at the things that you're doing well. And I mentioned that earlier. That's always something that people look at me and say, gosh, are we doing anything right? Sure. Yes, you are. Of course you are. But you also want to look at the things that you could maybe improve and dial up a little bit to make it even better. So that way your time and energy and investment that you're doing is worth it. And you are getting a return on your marketing investment, and your customer acquisition cost is going down, but the number of customers is going up, and your lifetime values of the right customers is up, and you're getting the right customers through the doors. That's what we're looking at and how we can help. Speaking of help, there's all kinds of resources on our website. If you go to peppershock.com and click on the resources tab, there's webinars and podcasts, and we have the Marketing Expedition membership. And if you become a part of the membership, you actually get exclusive access to the Facebook page, and then you get the monthly webinars and all kinds of fun stuff that come your way when you're a member of the Marketing Expedition series. So anyway, go to peppershock.com and check it out. And thank you for listening. And I hope to have you join us the next time around. You can actually subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud, and search for Peppershock Marketing Expedition. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Find more online at peppershock.com.